When I moved to Dubai for work, the first thing that I noticed wasn't architecture or the skyline. It was a dustbin. Specifically, a dustbin with an ashtray design on the top, sand inside it. Clean, deliberate. It was as if somebody had thought while designing it that people generally smoke near the dustbin. And then I saw some water filters almost in every public space, labeled, filtered, trusted. But then I remember that back in India, people do the same things. People also drink water, people also smoke near the bins, but the solutions are not exactly the same. For example, for drinking, you have matka, which is over there near any shop. You can get water from there. Or generally, there is some more mata ka pyao that people say, the water tap, which is almost everywhere required. Same human needs, but completely different design solutions. And that was something which made me look at design in a way that I can never unsee ever in my life. India has its own design language, and in this video, I'm going to show you 5 different ways in which it comes up. And by the end of the video, it will all make complete sense to you. Subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up with all of the videos that I'm posting. Before I get into the specifics, I want to explain one thing very clearly. In most developed countries like UAE, UK, Germany, Japan, most of the design is top-down. A government body, a company or organization decides how the public space is gonna work, how is it gonna look, how is the information gonna be displayed, and then it gets implemented uniformly everywhere. In India, most of the design is bottom-up. It's ordinary people designing the things for ordinary people. For example, a chai shop owner realizes that he needs some space for his customer to sit. He doesn't have benches. So what he does, he takes the broken cemented poles on the side and he makes a bench out of it. A local villager needs to save them while farming from the rain. So they just take some jute and bamboo and make a canoe out of that. No government body, any company or organization commissioned this particular design. Nobody approved it, nobody worked on it. It was just some ordinary people who were designing the solutions for their own ordinary people. It might look a little chaotic from the outside to many of the people, but for the people who are actually using it, it is completely functional and it makes complete sense. So let's start with the examples. So the first example is my favorite, and that is JUGAAD. So JUGAAD is basically a Hindi word which translates to a workaround or a fix, a creative solution which basically solves the problem with whatever the resources which are available at that point of time. But I want to push back a little on this definition of JUGAAD because it actually shows that it gives you the second best solution. But I don't think that is right. JUGAAD is a design philosophy. It prioritizes function over form, speed over perfection, and local needs over the universal principles. This actually reminds me of a very beautiful JUGAAD solution which I saw 4 years ago in the Amritsar's Golden Temple while I was having the langar. In Golden Temple, thousands of people take thousands of meals every day, and for that you need to serve them water. Now, you cannot always bend down to give them water. So what did they do? They actually created a whole new system or a vehicle. So you basically just need to take it to the person's plate. You will apply the brake, the tap will open, it will give the water, and that's done. That's a prime example of JUGAAD. There was no design brief, there was no user testing, there was no safety testing. It just got shipped and it solved the problem of that particular local terrain. Now compare that to how a vehicle is made in Germany. Years of R&D, a lot of testing done, and then you get a very beautiful engineered vehicle, which is also amazing. There's no issue in that. Both are designs. Just one is bottom up and one is top down. And as a product designer, this is one thing that I really love in JUGAAD because it solves a lot of problems that the top-down solution can actually not solve. Because the people who are designing the solution are also the people who are experiencing that solution. The user is the designer. That's actually one of the hardest things to achieve in the formal design. And India has done it amazingly just through its instincts. The second thing that I want to talk about is India signage. If you have driven in India, I think you know what I'm talking about. Information everywhere. Different fonts, different language, almost everything is taking you to a different direction. To a Western designer, this whole thing is a nightmare. No consistency, no form, no structure. But here's the thing, it works for its context. Indian public spaces are high density and high noise area. There's a lot competing for your attention at the same time. If you will put any of the minimalist design, which is according to the European standards, it's not going to take the attention, it's going to just be lost in all of this design noise. There's also a literacy and language dimension that most of the Western spaces do not have to look into that much. India has 22 official languages and hundreds and thousands of dialects. The design that you have created in Tamil Nadu might not work out in Rajasthan. In this as well, you will see that there is a room for creativity. I actually saw this particular copywriting on the banners which was used in Jaisalmer by one of the garment shop owners. He was using the quirky lines to grab the attention of the tourists and other people also. I really loved those copywritings. I just took some photos, I really shook my hand with the guy and I said, this is what Indian design is. Third thing is color. Almost everything in India uses a lot of vibrant colors. India uses colors loudly, be it yellow, red, green, blue, or all of these together. Whereas the Western designs, most of them now are pretty minimalist in terms of their flat colors, toned down shades and gradients, and a lot more empty spaces. Why? So now this is the thing. India uses color because it has to compete with the colorful and vibrant environment in which that particular design is being put. But there's something deeper. Almost every color has a different feeling in India. If you'll go to a wedding, you need to wear red color. At the same time, if you're going to a person's funeral, you might have to wear different color of clothes. So every color that you wear or you use signifies a whole different story, a whole different symbol. So now this is where the interesting thing comes into the play. How brands react to it. One of the most interesting examples that I find is the Fab India and Fable. So the Fab India is actually the Indian traditional wear seller. Now if you would see their stores or their branding, it's more vibrant. It uses a lot more colors together. Whereas their counterpart of Fable, which actually designs the clothes of the Western media, those are a lot more toned down. Those are a lot more minimalist. Those are a lot less vibrant colors. So that is a very beautiful example, and I feel most of the brands, when they enter to India, their branding misses out this particular thing. That in India, you need to use a lot of colors because Indians love colors. Fourth one is auto rickshaw. So now this is one of my most interesting examples because I cannot press more on this particular thing of how beautiful auto rickshaw design is. It is a base three-wheeler vehicle which has the same chassis and the same structure all around everywhere in India. But the interior of it actually speaks a whole new different language. It has different posters, different LEDs, different aura altogether. So in any auto that you will sit in, it will give you a different feeling. And that's, I guess, what is called a personalized design. In addition to this, why I also like the design of auto rickshaw is that it is inherently designed for the narrow lanes of India. Also, it has a very, very small rotate radius. So even in the small space, it can completely revolve. And at the same time, at any of the traffic, at any of the crowded spaces, auto can survive very easily. And that actually speaks a lot of how your present condition or the local conditions design the vehicles. Now the fifth thing, Indian homes. So now when I went outside, I saw the homes over there. And I would be very honest, the complete layout of a traditional Indian home and the home spaces of these Western spaces is completely different. One of the biggest example is the kitchen. So the entire idea of connecting the kitchen with your living room or the living space is largely Western because the food that they make over there doesn't really have a pungent smell or the spices. Whereas in India, you will see in the traditional spaces, kitchen is generally in a separate room. The reason? Again, Indians consider kitchen to be a more private space. They want that the guests should not come into the kitchen. They should not see the kitchen altogether. They should just care about the food. And also the smell and all other pungent spices should not get into the guests. Again, do I say that any of the layout is good or bad? No, it's not. Each of the setting is completely working for the traditional and cultural background of that particular space. Now, with the newer layouts of Indian homes, you will see that the kitchen is completely connected to the living room. And that also works because that is how the culture and tradition of any of the places evolves. One more very important thing which defines the design of the Indian homes is Vastu. So Vastu is not exactly a thing which is over there in the western spaces, but in India still in most of the places Vastu is considered to be one of the most deciding factors of which place will have a living room or which side the windows would be or which side the door would be. So yeah, Vastu and also that cultural thing comes into the play. That if your country's culture and tradition respects one particular type of philosophy, you will have to rely to that while designing that particular place. So now whenever I go anywhere in the world and come back to India, I see India in a whole different way. In the past, I used to think that why the things are not standardized, why the things are not more structured. Now when I see them, I have a complete idea of why they are like that. At the same time, I also have the ability to respect the jugaad solutions that the people have actually implemented for their everyday problems. India is a place of 1.4 billion people, and despite not having a structural top-down design in most of the places, most of the people navigate their life on every day with these small nitty-gritty jugaad design solutions. Do I say that the structural infrastructure still doesn't need to be improved? No, it still needs to be improved, and there is still a lot of things that can be improved in India and in any part of the world. That still remains same. But the only purpose of this video was to help you understand that how small things which you see every day in India actually speaks a lot about the culture, tradition, the needs of the particular people who are living there, who are using that. I hope that you like this particular video. If you did, hit the like button, and in the comments please do let me know what did you feel about this particular video. Do you have any of the conventions about Indian design? Did you see any other beautiful design jugaad solution in India? Do let me know about that. Or if you feel that you have any contrasting views on any of the things that I have said, I'm completely open to that. So yep, that is all about this video. You can subscribe to the channel, and you can also share this video to all the people who actually understand the Indian design or have interest in all of these things. I also post some of the shorts on my channel in which you will see how everyday design is explained and how all of those things are designed, what is the reason behind that, what's the history behind that. So you can have a look at that also. And I'm trying to post a video, a long form video every month on this channel and a short every 3 days in a week. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to execute this consistency, and really looking forward to connecting with you and reading your comments. I hope that you have a nice day ahead.